Billy Harold says, I've started dating a guy, been together for 1 month. He already says he is in love with and talking marriage. He has 2 kids, 10 and 12. Custody calls me all throughout the day. If I do not answer right away, he gets upset 2 times. He has asked for money until he gets paid next week. He also times me on how long I should be home. If I don't text him, he'll call and say, "Why are you not home yet? Can you give me any advice?" Well, I'm not hearing anything about what you want. I'm not hearing anything about you looking at these red flags and saying, should I date a guy who, needs to borrow money from me because he's either so financially irresponsible that he doesn't have any money by the end of the month, or, he's, in a situation where he's just doesn't have enough money to pay for his expenses but, it's probably the first one, because if he needs to borrow money until the end of the month when he gets paid, then he's just being irresponsible with his money until the next paycheck comes in. And so that in itself should be a giant red flag waving in your face that says, I should probably look more at this guy's financial situation and, look at the fact that he's being incredibly impulsive, right? It's been 1 month and he's talking about marriage and all this other kind of stuff. It's, you might want to hang back on that one. You might want to hang back on that one, Billy, and find out more about this guy. Make sure that he's consistent over time. Make sure to slow him down, because a lot of guys, a lot of women, a lot of people get into bad situations because they feel something for somebody, and then they're just like, all right, and they like try to get into the situation because they're like, oh, I need to have you. I need to have you, right? And it's just like this crazy biological thing that's going on with them. And you haven't seen him probably in difficult situations. You haven't seen the worst sides of him yet. You haven't seen all kinds of things. And so you need to slow his butt down. Slow him down. Put a stop sign in front of him and go, stop a second. Stop a second, mister. You need to slow your butt down. We need to take this a little bit slower, right? You need to take it slower and just relax and, push all that stuff back and just say, hey, let him know. Say, hey, you're going too fast for me. You're, smothering me. There's all these things I need to look at, and I need to make sure that we're right for each other, because you want to make sure you're using your heart and your brain. And this guy clearly has some weird things going on with him. And so instead of getting overly invested, no, he's saying all these lovey-dovey and he's, talking about marriage. What you want to do is you want to slow down, make sure you're not getting overly invested, learn more about him, make sure you see him in different scenarios when he acts weird and stuff, right? Take him to things that are challenging for him. Make sure he goes on dates where he's in scenarios where he's uncomfortable. Find out more about him. If he wants to get married, you need to make sure you're having financial conversations, especially with a guy who's giving you giant red flags like this. I mean, I know plenty of people that have that don't have money by the end of the month, and every single one of them has longer, bigger financial problems than the situation that you're talking about right now. So you want to make sure that you see it and you find out what that financial situation is that he's got going on, and make sure that he's consistent long-term over time, and just slow him down. Does that make sense, Billy? Does that make sense? Does that make sense?